Hi everyone, I will be talking about voting and its importance in this speech. I will start off with this question: why does your vote matter? Abraham Lincoln once said, "Elections belong to the people. It's their decisions. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters." Basically, what Lincoln was saying is that it is the people who have the power to elect, and if people choose not to use their vote, they will look back and regret that decision. I, like many of you, have this right to vote in the upcoming presidential elections. How does this election affect us? Who we elect in this next election will be in office for the next 4 years. 4 years is a long time. That is why it is important for us to know who we are electing and to vote for that candidate. In this speech, I will persuade you and encourage you to go out and vote in this next presidential election. And by doing so, I will answer 3 points or questions along the way. Why do citizens vote? Why do some citizens not vote? And why we as citizens should vote. Before I can persuade you all to vote, I must talk about why some citizens choose not to vote. According to statisticsbrain.com, only 57.5% of Americans voted in the 2012 presidential elections. The top reasons for not voting were that 17.5% of people said they had busy or conflicting schedules, 14.9% said that they had an illness or disability, and 13.4% of people said simply they were just not interested. 12.9% of people said that they did not like the candidates, and the list goes on. According to AmericanProgress.org, majority of non-voters are the young. 34% of non-voters are younger than 30 years old, and 70% are younger than 50. Based on these numbers, majority of people will not vote simply because they do not care enough or feel that their one vote really does not matter for the election. This leads me to the whole point of the speech, which is to encourage or to persuade you to use your vote. Why do some people vote, and why should they vote? Before a citizen can vote, they have 2 requirements. They must be at least 18 years old, and they must register first to vote. There are many different ways to register to vote according to USA.gov. A person can register simply online by filling out a form, or they can register in person at the election offices or the BMV. I want all of you to register so you can vote in this upcoming election. Why do some people feel it is necessary to vote? It is a duty of citizens to vote for the person that will run this country. Some people believe that it is a patriotic way of expressing their love for their country. It is also a right to vote as granted in the Constitution. There are two amendments that make it possible for all citizens to vote. Amendment 15 states, "Right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude." And Amendment 19, which states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." These amendments make it possible for all citizens to vote and do not discriminate against any one person. I encourage you all to use this right and voice your opinion and what you believe in by voting. Voting is the only way to guarantee our freedom as a country. Many people who choose not to vote often regret not voting. In an article on economist.com, economists say many voters believe that by not voting, they have let their country down. They believe that by not voting, they have given up their voice. People simply think that their vote will not matter because one vote simply cannot change an election. This may be true, but what if every person felt this way? Eventually, the majority of people will choose not to vote, and the United States will no longer be a country run by the people. In conclusion, we as citizens of the United States must execute our right as citizens to vote for the next president. In this speech, I talked about why some citizens do not vote, why some choose to vote, and why we should vote. I also visualized the effects of what will happen if more and more people begin not voting. By doing this, I hope to have persuaded and encouraged you all to go out and vote in this upcoming presidential election. Every person must vote because every vote matters, and we must use this vote to voice what we believe is the best decision for the United States of America.